What's up, guys? I've gone through a few changes, and that's life, isn't it? It's all changes, isn't it? I was faced with some difficult tests today. I'm a man of hermetical philosophies. I try to keep balanced in that because hermeticism includes all sides of things, religion, God, and so many other things. There was this man, this pious man, well into religion, stuck in it, unmovable, and he shut me down like big time. My brain went fuzzy. I couldn't think of what I was saying, and he was speaking over me, forcing authority on me. But I've done that all my life. I go into this higher voice, and people think it's innocence, weakness. People underestimate me. I've had to do it to survive since I was young. I've stayed like this, and that's because at the time I needed to survive. I needed to think for myself because I didn't have all the guidance that I should have had when I was younger. That's no fault. Like my dad wasn't around. We moved far away with our family, but I think that was to make me more intuitive, make me sense the world around, pick up people's body language. So even though the sky shut me down, not phased. I honestly don't care. Like, yeah, I do believe there is a God. I do believe there was a Jesus. In a very multi-dimensional, multifaceted way. Because I understand something about time and reality. That it's in a constant state of superposition. On the one side you've got the Darwinist theory, and the other side you've got the Bible. Both are true. Everything that is believed to have happened, or someone imagined happened, or what have you, it's all true. And it both is true and isn't true. Because time is a fluid. It's not solid. It's constantly shifting. Even in the present, it is shifting. And even after it is past, the past can still change by ripples from the future or ripples from the present. And it's the same with the future. The future is constantly liquid. I once heard the story about a guy who came back from the future, and they asked him, okay, every other time traveler has told us that they come from the future as well, and all their stories are different. Why is that? Well, says, well, that's simple. It doesn't cement until it's the present, right? I suppose that's one understanding of things. And maybe he's yet to understand what I understand, that even the present is fluid. The world around you, reality can shift and change in a heartbeat. You just have to know where to look for it. It's not easy to perceive. And I've always been in tune in things like that. I know I've got those witch shaman abilities. Now the heavy religious guy will tell you that I need to be stoned for that, but it was a gift from God, so And I'm pretty sure that's a hate crime these days anyway. But, you know, even if I was able to prove you they're real, it requires absolute focus. I can move the wind, I can feel vibrational energies, I can create vibrational energies to use as a heart's compass in my hand and direct me to where I want to go. Today, after I met that man, I came to town for 2 reasons. One, because I was told by some higher place, and I say higher place, but I mean higher number of dimensions, but it's inwards. The direction is inwards. It's everywhere. It's in all matter, in all being. I was trying to get that across to him, but he was not having it. But I let it go, and I says, well, I forgive him because I know God forgives him too. God loves everybody, even those who are blind to him. This man's not entirely blind to him, but he thinks he sees everything God does and has it figured out. And God is ineffable. You can't know everything he does. Like a person, you can't judge a person by what's on the cover, because there is so much more going on underneath. If they've gotten rid of ego and identity, you'll realize that people are constantly changing, multifaceted beings, multidimensional beings. Unlike a prism, there's like so many reflections in there. It's like a hall of mirrors. You know, there's other mirrors probably reflecting if you were able to stick your head into that reflection and look out the other side in a way that's just not possible. But who knows, maybe it is possible. I haven't tried walking through mirrors magic yet, but I don't think I need to try that. But all magic, all stuff like that, is part of science, and it's also part of God. It's all in one. Science and magic it's nothing against God. It's all part of the design. But people get stuck in those scientific and magic and beliefs in physical. Oh, it has to be what we're being told. It can't change. And well, in God's realm, all changes. It's just people trying to build a rigid identity so that they can feel safe in a structured manner. And it's because everyone's stuck in their identity. They've made that their whole world. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, God put that there so that people could have a challenge to overcome, to learn to look inwards, and to learn to see true self. And true self, you'll never see all of it. You'll never know all of the tapestry of that subconscious. You can see the parts of the conscious, the mechanisms in it, and that's something you can figure out. Figuring out the subconscious, that's not something to be figured out. All I know is how the mechanism connects to my conscious self, and that's, if I need something, I treat it like an AI, in the sense that it's like a search algorithm. Oh, I need this memory right now. I need to remember what this is. Could you go get that for me? And they bring it to you. You don't fight to get that. You don't go, oh no, I try hard to remember. A good analogy is the guy. This music is very obnoxious. Right now, there we go. Let's turn it down a bit. So, this music. No, that's not what I was going to say. That was what I just said. So there's this analogy that I could use. when creating Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, the main actor that they based the character on, the main character on, when they were doing the mocap, it's like, and he's trying to put a lightsaber together using the Force with his mind, and the director goes, "What are you doing?" Because it's like going, like, and he goes, "Well, he doesn't know how to use the Force peacefully. He doesn't know how to construct a lightsaber. He's trying hard because he thinks that's how it's done. He thinks that's how you put a lightsaber together, through Force." And, well, in Star Wars, if you know anything about the Jedi, you have to relax and not fight the Force or fight to control it, but relax into it. Let the Force come to you. And it doesn't do your bidding. It's you asking the Force to help you. And sort of in the same way, you're asking the Force, but instead it's Source. People who go into like meditation, all that lot, they call it Source. And Source is like source of creation. It's God. Upper dimension 13, right? And when you go into your lowest chakra down there, where the womb's wound is, that's the wound of creation. And men have a creation wound as well, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to create things if they didn't have one. That'd be like a design flaw. And, well, God makes no mistakes. Everything is intentional, and it's all part of his plan. Even the failures are learning moments so that you can grow. They're not to punish you. You're not being punished because you've sinned. You're going through a rough time because he's trying to teach you something so that you can grow out of doing those things naturally, not by force, but by showing you the error of your ways, showing you, oh, this is not healthy for me. Maybe I shouldn't do this. But God only gives you what he thinks you can handle. If someone passes away, it's generally because they have a purpose in the afterlife to guide other souls or to move on to the next one. And the impact they've already made on your life was intentional, so you could grow. No matter how short-lived, whether they're around for a moment or a lifetime. People aren't put there to give you hope. People aren't put there to keep you happy. They're put there to make you conscious and think about life's decisions and the choices that you make, and grow to understand the meaning and the weight those choices have. But also not to overthink things. Use your intuition. Your womb of creation is exactly where your gut is, so like, it makes sense. They say trust your gut. Just let it flow naturally. Let creation flow naturally. And you don't battle it. You're not fighting it to happen. You're not trying. You're not, what's the word? It's not practice. There's another word for it. It'll come to me. Basically, it's like, you know, you're not like pushing yourself to do something, Yeah, it's not coming to me, so it's okay. We'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. Maybe it's not my time to tell it right now. Everything happens for a reason, but don't look too much into it either. Don't overthink it either. Because time is non-linear, things can be in a lot of superposition, and that's why. I mean, your brain's a quantum computer, basically, connected to source. That's why quantum computers have to be in both 0 and 1 at the same time. And if they break out of that, it's no longer a quantum computer. Think of it this way. Your conscious mind works in a part of your brain from the processing center. That's a binary computer. Your subconscious is a non-binary computer. That's the quantum computer. And basically it sends stuff from the translates stuff from the subconscious to the conscious. From the quantum variables to, oh, here's a choice now. And you use that as a guide to help you make decisions that, and that's why when you're not connected to source, when you're not connected to subconscious, you can't think of a single original thought. You can't think for yourself because you are unable to create. Because without that subconscious, and it's not just in the brain, it's in the whole body, you're connecting to something deeper, intrinsically, fourth dimensionally, that goes into other dimensions even deeper and deeper and deeper. And it was so crazy to me, like how it's all tied together. I saw miracles today, but I also made some as well. I went round and I was trying to get a ram stick, like a ram kit, and you know how ram prices are right now. But like, I still don't feel like it was a waste of a day. I feel great. I've had another thing telling me like, hey, you've got enough money on you, right? Why not buy some oranges and bananas and then hand that out to the homeless? Because remember I was saying, like, the city, it's bleak to what it used to be. It used to be a beautiful place. And then they paved over everything. It got gloomer. It's a almost desolate town, like, at times. It used to always feel like a bright place even when it was cloudy. Like, full of people, full of life, like one of the go-to cities of the country, and it just feels like it's just dried up well of a place now, and there's homeless everywhere. And so I was like, it's funny because I probably knew these people as a kid when they wasn't homeless. But when prices go up and everything gets too expensive to be on the high street and stuff like that, cafes shut down, barbers shut down, and it's just like, it all changes. And now you've got all these rich, fancy supermarkets for urban development, and the poor people can't go there. The poor people can't afford to work there or like that, and it's like, because obviously they're not going to pick that. Going to pick someone with high passing grades, and it's like a piece of paper that's apparently worth more to them than just giving a guy a chance at a job, you know. And so I went round. There's this bloke who wouldn't accept. I got a coffee for cause, and I saw him freezing. He's giving out magazines. And you could tell he was struggling. So I gave these, I followed my hand compass of, like, you know, with chilly abilities, and they led me to all the homeless in the city. I'd given them each a couple of bananas, a couple of oranges each. And one of them said to me, what was it? They said, "Are you sure about this?" And I says, "Is it fair that you should have food and I shouldn't, just because I have money?" And he didn't know what to say. I left him frozen there and I just walked away. No, it wasn't. I didn't say it isn't fair. I said, is there any reason, any good reason, that just because I have money, that I'm allowed food, but they aren't? Are you not as alive as me? I said. And I walked off, leaving him in a stunned silence as I kept going, giving people more bananas than oranges. And I got to that guy and I saw that it was freezing, so I went into the coffee shop and bought him the coffee. He said he couldn't have it. I says, okay. And so I went around the corner, went back up the street, went to one of the homeless guys. It was now raining. It was hail, everything. I was completely fine. Because the fire with me, and because those breathing techniques I did during my path to enlightenment allow me to control my body temperature more than I used to. Cold doesn't get to me mentally because I've disciplined myself in saying that this is not cold. So even though if I put my hands together, I can feel the cold of my other hand with my hand, but I can't feel the cold of the air in my hands. I can't feel the temperature of the cold in my hands because my blood's warming my body up, I guess, or something like that. Or just like chakra, or whatever you want to call it, is like heating up my body from like a warmth in my chest. And then I give these guys, she gave me a milk as well, a cup of milk. And I was like, nah, this isn't for me either, I'm thinking. And so I gave two guys, I gave one the cup of milk and the other I gave the coffee, and they were both homeless. Talked to them for a bit and then went back down a different way. Said hello to somebody who was in a really cool long red leather jacket, very Guardians of the Galaxy, and then and they had the hairstyle of that guy from Fantastic Beasts as well. Kind of just stuck in my head a bit there. And then I got down back to where that guy had been freezing earlier, and the weather had warmed up. The sun had come out after I gave those guys that coffee and that milk. And I was like, is there anything I can do for you? And he's like, could you buy some of these magazines, please? And I said, I'll be right back. I went and got 20 out of bank. Another tenner for the woman that was sat not far. She was homeless too. I've seen her for years. I know her. I gave her a tenner and I went to the guy and he thanked me. And he said, thank you. You have no idea how much this helps me. It's like breaking down, like crying, because he's got kids to feed. He's got to look after his kids. And I says, stay strong for those kids. Because that heart inside you, thinking about your kids, that shows you've got a good heart. And that's going to pay for his electric. I said, I don't think that God isn't watching out for you, because he is. He sees what you're doing. He sees what we all do through our own eyes, because we are extensions of subconscious and conscious, are extensions of his being, like tendrils of information, basically. And I say he, but you know, he, she, doesn't matter. God can be many things. He is everyone and he is no one. He is everything and nothing. Because, like me, not a single thing can define God. It's ineffable. And I think that's what it means by we are created in God's image, because God creates, and so do we too create. And I know there's a lesson somewhere in there with that religious man. I'll have to think on that one, because that I've got to get to a point where I don't shut down when faced with someone who is firmly in their beliefs. Pretty much speaking over them. I'm still working on my throat chakra to like speak up, but I want to speak up without turning it into a shouting match. I need to learn to speak up while still being a calming, happy influence on people. And that's not an easy thing to do. I feel like the way I am talking right now is the perfect balance of all of that. But when you speak like this and you face a person who's set in their ways, they will start speaking over you. I don't know how to assert dominance without going back into that survivalist mindset of like, no, you listen to me. Like, and I'm trying to figure out the right balance of that. Find a more balanced approach. And think about it when I'm talking to people. Think of how one would approach this. Don't put myself in the moment too much, because if I'm too much grounded in reality, I start attaching myself to the moment, and that's when anxiety and you start shutting down and getting mental fog when you're in a confrontation, because your brain panics, it goes into panic mode, and it's learning. I mean, it wasn't a confrontation in the normal sense. Like, it wasn't a physical confrontation. This was a test of experience, wisdom, and intelligence, courage. And using that wisely, he's had a lot more experience doing that. And so, you know, he's been at it for 10 years. He's sort of woken himself up to reality, but in a very different way to what I have. And so obviously he knows how to use that to put people in their place. And I don't know quite. I know that it's the calm diplomat that has to find a way to calm that, but also asserting authority in a way, giving authority without getting hot-headed and, you know, bullheaded. So I need to find that balance between the two, where I can speak up and have people listen to me, actually listen to what I am saying instead of trying to speak over me. But I don't want to deconstruct what they're saying or devalue what they are saying either. Because in order to have a discussion, you need both parties to be allowed to have their say. And I think that's going to be one of the most difficult things, is learning to deal with people who try to control the flow of the conversation and basically trip me up, cause mental fog in the process, because they'll fry you by shoving loads of information down your throat, not allowing you to even think straight enough to be able to access source. And it's like, that's like, I don't know, FBI brainwash tactics or something. Like, they're brainwashing you there and then in the moment. But it didn't brainwash me, because I know that I'm firmly in my beliefs now, and you can't do it to me. But if I'm gonna be going onto YouTube, where there's loads of people, global stage, I'm gonna have to learn how to be more diplomatic without letting myself be walked all over, because I need to be able to get the point across. And if I can't get the point across because I'm letting them walk all over me, then nobody's gonna want to listen to you. Because in order for me to heal people, I need to reach people. And there's going to be religious types that I think, like, scientific types, I've known how to deal with those for a long time because I was one of those scientific types. But I never fully went into the religious dogma. I never fully got in there to, like, the highest hierarchy. And so, as a result, like, I don't know how, I don't quite understand. And I think that's why this guy was sent to me, for me to be aware of that. Be aware of something. It's not a failure. It was a learning moment. It was a teaching moment of, like, I need to understand when the sort of the psychology of a religious person, not to pick them apart, but to sort of get them to question themselves more and not take things on just blind faith. I read this passage in a book of Jesus where he was trying to tell them that, like, he was the Son of God and God was in all of us. So in a sense, we are all gods in our own right, because we create things through the power of God that is given to us as a gift. And, like, these religious people were like shutting him down and were like, oh, you claim to be God, and now you must be a demon, like, because they were followers of Abraham, and he healed a blind man, and the blind man said that Jesus explained something to someone about how those who are blind see the truth. Those who think they are not blind do not see the truth. It was about all the people that had sight, like, they were so focused on what they could see, they weren't focusing on what they couldn't see. And because they were making their actual sight their reality. And so they believed from what they could see that this man must not be a man of God. And obviously, he's the Messiah, so they're wrong about that. A religious man can easily convince himself that he is not blind. But those who truly see know that they are blind. in that sense, yes, I am not physically blind, but I know that I am blind to most of the inner workings of God, because God is unknowable. You can only see a glimpse, a moment, a capture, a snapshot, a couple of reflections when looking into a diamond, a single colour out of the whole spectrum of colours. You can capture some of that, and you could say, oh, that's God easily. But it's not. Because God, you can't know all of God's plan. You can't know all of God. God has plans for me. And I've been told that I don't know them. And I've been given glimpses of what could be. And I've been told that whichever way I choose, I've got a crossroad. One of them's doing these YouTube videos, I'm assuming. And the other's something else I don't quite know yet. I don't know if that means I'll have to choose between doing this and helping Leeds. Maybe both things are full-time jobs, I don't know. I'd hope that if I was successful enough in YouTube, I'd accrue enough money to do something about the state of the city. Because I don't know if I'll be able to make homelessness go away for the country, but if I can at least do it for one city. But part of me wants to manifest that I can do it for the world. And maybe that's part of God in me, with that love for everybody. That why should it just be our country? Why not? Well, why not the whole damn world, you know? And it's like, that's the real talk there. I can feel it now. He's coming through. So I'm gonna get in game, and okay, there we go. So, you know, I'm running the game on one REM stick, but I guess it's the only problem I keep coming across is like whenever I'm trying to use like HDR on the browser, because I'm running two separate screens. One's was at 1440p and the other's at 4K, and then I'm running HDR as well. And so when a HDR video comes up on YouTube and I hit full screen on it, it crashes the whole browser and starts lagging my whole system. And then it goes away for a couple of seconds, and then I'm able to reopen the browser, and it's fine. So what I've had to learn to do, because like, yeah, I know some of you will say turn hardware acceleration off, I know that. But hardware acceleration makes the videos all laggy because I'm running them at higher resolutions. I've got to. Or they start to look pretty weird on my monitor. But then I need to declutter a bit. You know, I get rid of like I put the resolution of my second screen down to 1080p from 1440, and then I just like had the video open and not full screen it, because that's the only fix I can think of currently. So that it doesn't like crash or anything. I can seem to be able to run it without full screening, but I have to run it at 720. The video at 720p. Okay, right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be doing. Let's put there. Okay, so could have sworn there was a green robe on. Ah, there it is. Like, that's the robe I was wearing into town. So, like, I did like, hello, if you there, security guy. I did tell him about my YouTube and 3 of the homeless people I was talking to. Like, homeless people have phones too. Like, it's strange. We live in a capitalist society, but everybody has phones. Even homeless people have to have a phone because, like, you know, for what little they do have, they have to have a bank account. They have to be able to, like, you know, do things in life. So they're not completely without a lifeline, but they still can't afford to have a house, so they're living on the streets. And they'll get, like, tiny bits of money, but it's, like, nothing compared to the privileged life we're living. Not any music. No, there is not any music, okay. So, obviously, like, you know, actually, I'm just gonna... Yeah, it's on that. I like having it on prox chat because, you know, on the off chance someone, you know, joins us. Right. We'll be needing some medical gear. I don't know if we're right at the right space station because... It's so cool that they can do that now. It's going to get more advanced than that soon. You'll have, like, moving ships maps as well. Unless they've already done that, I don't know. So... we appear to be at... Where are we? That's it. Okay. That's good because pretty sure did I lose the ship? I think I might have lost the ship, but that's alright. I do believe that at the bank I had a bunch of med pens or something I needed to put into it. Yeah, I did. Okay, so what we're gonna do is see if we can fit all this in there. Oh, we can. How? Wow, that's a lot of... that's like a crazy amount of capacity to what it used to be. So we're going to put all that inside the Pisces. Not the Pisces, the medical terrapin. I used to worry about, like, you know, society will say, oh, people won't listen to you if you say all the time. I used to get so caught up in that, like, I'd be, like, editing out all the and I realized I say a lot when I'm thinking. And, like, I got burnt out last time from that, because I had, like, the one video where I had, like, something like crazy, like, 150 to 200 in a single video. Because my brain was that mentally fried from doing, like, videos and streaming. Because I was trying to do both Twitch and YouTube. And I don't have a video editor, so I had to do it all myself. And I just spread myself in and burn myself out. So I was like, don't do this because this is a trend. Like, that's the thing. I've stopped trying, like I said. I just let things happen naturally, let them come to me. Because when you're relaxed, that's more genuine. People like that content. But if you're faking it, if you're faking being somebody else, people will notice that. So now I'm just trying to be as real as possible. Well, within limitations of, like, you know, obviously I don't want to go against my teachings, because like, and the teaching is, you know, there are no limitations. There's no limitations, and a personality is dynamic. So while I do try to be real, like, I can change, I can move around, but I don't, like an actor goes into different roles throughout the lifetime. There are many things. They've been a scientist, they've been a doctor, they've been a villain, they've been a hero. And it's like that in real life. You are multifaceted, you're never that one side. Just like God. And that's why your subconscious is ineffable, unknowable. And your conscious mind can't do what the subconscious does. It's not built for it. That's why the senses have to go. Your sensory stuff cannot be, you can't let that go through the conscious mind, because that's like, what's the word? Causes you to get fried out because you're getting overloaded by all these different sounds, and people will perceive that as ADHD, autism, because that's the label it's been given, and they think that that's like a medical condition. It's not a medical condition. It's you don't know how to operate your brain, because there's no training. Well, there is training for that. It's called enlightenment. Because when you go through shadow work and enlightenment, like training, to become enlightened, you train your brain in a way that you're relaxing it so that it can control and ease into things without force, because that's how the brain works. When you move water, the more you push around the water, the more resistance you'll feel pushing against your hand. But if you move your hand slowly through the water, there'll be less resistance. And your consciousness and subconscious work sort of the same way. The more you try to force your mind to do something, the more it'll fight you back. That's why you're getting overloaded, you're getting mental fog, because you've organized your brain with all these mental constructs that are a figment of your imagination that society has put, or a figment of someone else's imagination, and society's put them on you. And so, why am I here? Oh yeah, that's it. I'm trying to find a way out. I'm trying to find a way into my ship. Sorry. That happens sometimes. I am a bit foggy myself, because obviously, long day, been places. It's strange. I willed myself to not have a cold. I told myself, because my throat was starting to get sore on the way back, it was affecting me, my meditative breathing, because every time I breathed in, I get that sharp pain in the throat there. Because I'd just been running for the bus as well, and then there was people with perfume on the bus. So, firstly, I moved myself away from everybody else and went to the front of the bus in the furthest seat possible from anybody. Secondly, I started doing meditative breathing and kept doing that until it was my turn to go off. I got off early, and I walked through the fields. And as I walked through the fields, I told myself, even before I walked through the fields, before I got off the bus, I told myself, no, you don't have a cold. Your throat's just feeling worse than it actually is because you think you have a cold. Don't think you're sick just because you get like some itch in your throat. It could be nothing. I mean, it could be a cold. But then I started feeling like symptoms of a cold coming on. So I was like, okay, so if this is a cold, at this point I was out in the fields, and I was like, if this is a cold, then I'm going to dispel it. And so I coughed up mucus, and with it came all those irritants that was on my throat that was making me feel sick, and I felt so much better. My throat still feels sort of like hoarse and dry. I probably need to hydrate. That's probably part of it. But like that's one of the examples of like mind over matter. Personal alchemy is what they tend to call it. Personal alchemy. Philosopher's Stone comes from that. That right there is egoic. Like, do you know anybody who walks like that in real life? Just like, you see, he's doing it with the soldiers. Like, you know what that makes me think of? Like John Travolta and the T-Birds in Greece. Like that. I got you. They're multiplying. It's like, it's so like over the top, like overly dramatic. I think I think Jim Carrey's done the same thing when he was playing was it Pet Detective? I forget the name of it. Something like that. Where he's playing that really outlandish character where he's like, and he's got like that like clip at the front. It's been a hot minute since I watched that. I need to go back and watch the Jim Carrey movie. Jim Carrey, he's like so in tune with things like that. He warned us, you know, he warned us about Hollywood long before it happened. Like the knowing of everything that went on. So it's like, and I picked up on that. It's like the whole Johnny Depp, you know, and his ex situation. I picked up on something because, like, I've been taught to read body language all my life, and after the breakup, when everyone was bashing Johnny Depp when she said he'd been abusing her, they were on red carpet together, you know, doing public appearance, and you could see he was like he's shivering. He doesn't. He's not thinking about, oh, is everyone noticing me? Let's put on this act. No, he's like genuine fear of that woman, of Amber Heard. He was afraid of her. I reckon he probably had to do some therapy before he went into that court that day and, like, you know, sort of got justice for that. But, like, you can pick up on things in, like, body language. You can read people. The idea that, like, because, like, I had my sibling telling me, like, oh, the stuff in the stuff in that Lie to Me is nonsense. Not all of it. Some stories, some made-up stuff is born in truth. Now, you need to use discernment to figure out which parts are and which parts aren't. Follow your intuition, you got as well. Your instincts. Yeah, they can be off sometimes, but if you follow your intuition, that tends to connect to source a lot more than instincts does. Because your instincts is like survival instincts. Oh, read people. Oh, someone's a danger. Like that's for a different situation. But your intuition is like, you know. That's why instinctive is usually bodily reactions. It's not tied to your subconscious in the same way, because it's tied to more like muscle memory of the mind than muscle memory of the body.
Guess that's the way it is sometimes.
Okay. And I have just remembered why I was. Yeah, I've come back down here again. Like my, like, see, this is what am I pressing? Sir. I felt like a barrier was stopping me from crossing those stairs. I was doing it again. My character's like drifting left and right, like he's struggling with the stairs. So we are going to go to. Oh, there we go. See, they put this food court up here, medical clinic up here. There's no signs up here for it. You have to sort of go here first to see it. And I'm gonna assume it's this way because I know the like, you know, inventory bank is right there. But for some reason, it's not showing me my. Oh, you know what? That's my bad. This is the wrong place. It's this way. That's the Habs. I'm not reading the signs, that's my problem. I'm so caught up in my story, I'm not paying attention. Here we are. That can happen sometimes when I'm like hyper-focused on. Huh. I'm gonna have to call my ship and hope that it works.
Welcome to the A+ vehicle retrieval system.
Yeah, I figured I'd lost that. But it's okay because I didn't have anything of value in it. So yeah, basically, like, I gave these. I just sort of like self-alchemy. I like believed that the cold would go away if I spat all this nasty mucus out, and it did. It just went away. There's also a problem partially because that's what's causing my throat to irritate. Because I have this problem where like things don't clear in my throat all too well when they're thick like that. But it can sometimes be a benefit because it means I don't always as easily catch cold because I'll like spit it up before it gets into my system and like becomes worse. But you know, we're all naturally like, normally it just drips down and you can't even tell it's there because you don't feel as much as the throat. But when my senses dialed in, I do. But like, you know, I dial it out. I dial it out because like I had to learn how to dial out my senses, and it's like Spider-Man, like in that scene with Norman Osborn again, like you see, with ADHD and autism, with as they call them, as they've labelled them, when your senses are more intuitive like mine, because you grew up with them more in tune, because you had to learn to survive, you pay attention to what's going on around you, become very detail oriented. It's not that anything's wrong with you, it's that it's an adaptation. Your brain wires itself that way at a young age if it feels the need to, because there's some sort of parent not teaching you how to do those things, so you become more observant, you become more philosophical and intelligent, and you think more because of it, which can be a very, like, because you think more, it can be sometimes a detriment to yourself, where you tend to overthink things, or you tend to overprocess or overfocus on things. And society is not kind to the people that work like that. So it's like, it did it for survival, but like it worked as a kid, but it doesn't work as an adult. And obviously, like, we're not living in a survivalist society. We're not living in a society where you really need to survive. Not technically speaking, it's just society is a little dysfunctional because it's, you know, it's got these structures that aren't really designed for true survivalism, because there's a monetary side involved. So you can't just go out in the fields, get some rocks and start stitching them together with some sticks to make axes and stuff, and then start using them to go bludgeon some animals, because that could be someone's farmland. It's kind of hard to get away from ownership of land here in the UK as well. There's a lot more open spaces in like Alaska or America or like Siberia, Mongolia, which they're big, massive open spaces of wilderness. It's hard to live there, yes, because you don't have society's benefits, but at the same time, you can be a survivalist there because it's the kind of environment for it. It's the real kind of survivalism. But in a society where the food's brought to you and you know, you just order it online and it's like abundance, you're stuck in a survivalist mindset when you don't need to be. And you're doing that every day. And because you're stuck in that and you're not built that way, you haven't been trained that way, but like society's put it upon you anyway to be like that, even though you're not, your brain wasn't wired that way at a young age because you were brought up in this society. Even if you're poor, you're just still like, even if you're poor, as long as you live in a society where food and money exists, like you still a chance you're gonna have food. And that's more than like people in those survival environments. They have to fight bears for their fucking fish and stuff. And they're like, especially when they're in that super extreme cold, like dead of space. And obviously that can, not a dead of space, the extreme cold of like Alaska and the wilderness and stuff like that. Obviously, you know, they're gonna have a lot more to deal with in terms of fighting to survive. But at the same time, like, I guess you could say those people are plentiful because they've been given the skills from a young age to learn how to fight to survive, and then they've like, you know, they've got the skills now. Like, they're abundant in skill in and opportunity in getting food, which I suppose the poor people in society who don't have any money wouldn't have that opportunity. So it's a weird thing about like, oh, am I privileged or am I not privileged? Like, a person out in the wilderness has the privilege of freedom and they have the privilege to hunt their own food, but they have to go hunt for it. So they do not have the privilege of having it just handed to them. Whereas a poor person on the street, like, they are poor, so they have the privilege of begging for food, or privilege of people who take pity on them and actually give them food. And sometimes, obviously, there's those out there that don't do it out of pity, but because they just love everybody. And I love people. I love people, and I don't see why we should live in this kind of world where like we've got this abundance of food that we share across the entire globe, and obviously, like, I'm not seeing that that love being shared, that food being shared, because when you're not worrying about survival, when you haven't got like that lack of food, people can start, you know, getting out of that survivalist mindset. It becomes easier to do that. And oh, that's why it's taking so long.
insurance claim has... Your vehicle has been moved to our storage facility.
Oh.
Let me know if you change your mind.
Your insurance claim has been sent.
Thank you.
I thought it was a bit expensive for a medical terrapin. I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to bring my Carrack out by mistake. It doesn't seem to be... It's a different elevator. So I'll just keep trying them all till I see it. Sometimes the elevators can bug out. What I'm gonna try and do is relog to like a different server. I've had that your love keeps lifting me stuck in my head all day, and like I got to a point where I was like enjoying it so much, and I was just like, I wasn't even like, I wasn't fully singing it, I was just humming it most of the time, and I was on the bus. And like I'm glad like everybody else at the front was at the front of the bus, and like they had headphones in and stuff, so they weren't paying attention to me. So I was free to just be as open as I want, because you know, yes, don't do what society wants you to do. Be true to yourself. Be free-spirited if that's part of who you are. But when in Rome, you know, and it's balancing that. So I danced a little bit. I was like, just doing that in my in the chair at the back, in my seat at the back, and like that's like I feel like, because I was doing that in the cafe before, and then someone turned the music off, and I was like, I don't feel good about this. Like they've turned the music down, and I don't know, like the person turned the music up later again, but the people that did it for is they didn't care about the music being loud. They just used that as an excuse because they wanted me to stop going like that in the chair next to them. People don't like it when you're happy, because they're too easily distracted by the world around them, because you know they're caught up in the ADHD, like, oh, everything distracts me. And that's because, you know, these YouTube shorts and stuff like that, like they'll shorten your attention span. And I've pulled out of that now. I found I can hold focus on things for a long time. I can consciously eat for the whole meal if I choose to. But I had to practice consciously eating full meals in order to get here, so that I could learn to pull my focus to the moment, pull my energy to the moment as well, so that I didn't feel tired or exhausted doing that all the time. But making that my natural state of mentally focused, mentally aware, and grounded in reality, while still being able to dip into that subconscious and like dive in, because you can go into the subconscious. That's how you see images when you close your mind or come up with ideas, especially when like they're visual. And so it's like that it's tapping into that creative energy that like God just flows through you. It's just like I said, like a prism or a fountain. But God's creation also does that, and creation comes with love of something. Because when you love something, it just comes naturally. But when you try to force something, when you're not thinking about, oh, I am enjoying this, I love this, you're thinking about how you finagle it or whatever you want to call it. And when you're thinking like that, you're not enjoying the process so much. It's like it becomes a job, or you let your mind go numb completely. Because, like, creativity, you need both your conscious and your subconscious to do that. And if your conscious self is not involved at all, then there's something wrong. Because both your conscious and subconscious need to work in unison to create. Like, your subconscious gives you a general idea, starts putting it into somewhat of a form. It can sometimes fully form something. And then your conscious side will, like, define it. And that, your image recognition and stuff like that. That's how it works with, like, visual stuff. And so even when you're asleep, you can use, like, other parts of your brain, like the conscious side. Even when you're unconscious, that's when you get, like, dreams that are, like, vividly realistic and, like, it's dialing into all your senses. Some dreams use all parts of your brain. And that's because dreams are gateways to other realities, other versions of yourself, mostly. I'm supposed to be getting a dream of like other realities of me right now. But I don't know if either the medication is throwing it off or if, like, I'm being protected from bad dreams or something. I mean, there is a dream catcher outside that could probably be affecting things. Oh, it's not glitched out, thankfully. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is more medical beacons. I am a medic after all. So the moment I walked up this ramp, the memory of me hitting that light switch for the outer lights, the flashy lights, came back to me. And stuff like that. I didn't have to think about doing it, it just came to me. And yeah, force that. It's still bugged. That's fine. Totally fine. Now, you don't see this higher energetic version of myself is because, like, I tend to leave it until the afternoon. Maybe I should do, like, more videos during the day so that you get to see, like, that higher energy side of myself. I see it's bugged again. That's fine. That was not the... There we go. Right, so... we want to be putting, like... Oh yeah, that was it. Drinks. I can't get the drinks from here. That's fine. We'll figure that out later. Wait, is that the same? Oh, so it's just all the same storage anyway. In that case, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm assuming those are going to be separate at some point. Well, in that case, I'll just throw the rest in there. Huh. Huh. What did I just access it? That? No, it wasn't that. Huh. You see that? And now, like, it's like... So there is a crew storage. But it doesn't work all the time. Oh, I see. Okay, right. That's what I wanted to do, I guess. Oh. You know what, I didn't bring HCS team keybinds up. I do need a bit of a trim because it's rubbing my skin, but I can still get irritations on the skin and stuff like that, but like I don't feel them as much as I used to. I don't know how much of that is the metazapine and how much is the shadow work. Because even with the metazapine, I was still getting them once the metazapine wasn't as strong anymore. Because I've been on it a while now, so it's been dampening down a bit, the effects of the metazapine. But then I started to do the shadow work, and it's like, oh, actually, it's coming back up. What's going on here? And I realised it was the shadow work itself. It was working on my inner self, learning to control aspects of myself calmly. You know, that's what I was talking about earlier. what I was trying to talk about earlier, like Spider-Man. You know how in the old Spider-Man, in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, it's like, oh, the spider senses, like, he's just got really fast reflexes and, like, everything seems slowed down to him. He's Spider-Man, not the Flash. But it was an interpretation that worked for the time. And some really cool slow-motion shots, I guess. But, like... No, I'm bashing on it because I'm a Toby fan, me. But I feel like Andrew Garfield's was closer to the comics, but Tom Holland's was the closest because it's a tingle. It's not like it's a feeling, like an instinct, an intuition. And like all your other senses get dialed up, his intuition got dialed up as well. And so, with the ADHD and autism like symptoms, I found, oh wait, actually, like, because there was that moment where he was surrounded by all the villains. And he was supposed to be helping them get rid of their powers so they're allowed to go back to their timelines but not be a bad influence like they was with their powers. And, against Doctor Strange's wishes. So he's taking away their powers because there'll be no harm then in sending them back and allowing them to live instead. Because obviously in all the Spider-Man movies, all the villains always die. So basically, like, there's this moment where it's like he's walking through the space, and if you don't know, Spider-Man's spider sense is like, it's a magic power. It's like the Marvel Universe's equivalent of magic, which is like some mixture between mystical and quantum, which is very much what I've been talking about. But like, that's sort of what intuition is, and he was so tapped into that because what happened was he started getting stronger, and he was like, something's wrong. Like, he's looking around, he's just going like this, he's walking through the room, and it's like, is something wrong, Peter? And he's like, I don't know, give me a second. And he's walking through, and like, he turns sideways, and he's like, and then on reflex, he's just like that shoots his web out. Because he wasn't sure where it was coming from, so and you remember in the first Tom Holland Spider-Man, he was like, the reason why you wear these goggles, Simon was like, and he was like, well, it helps me focus my senses because all my senses are dialed up. So that's very much like ADHD, autism, kind of wired into everything. And like breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, focuses on. And it's like, well, that's so strange, because what I found is like, oh, now I'm on the other side. I've realized, oh, autistic people, ADHD people who have like that extra sensory problem, you can control it, but you have to stop fighting it. You have to be yourself, and you have to breathe, relax into it. you also got to be careful with ADHD with those energetic energies, because it can bring you into anxiety, because they're two sides of the same coin. There are still some polarities in there, but it's like anxiety can become a positive of like thing. So there, I'm not fully rid of polarities, but it's not a hang up or anything like that, because I've learned to control it now, and not through forcing control, but by just letting him do what it naturally does, rather than falling into anxiety and letting it control anything. I'm basically letting the anxiety be excitement without it falling into into anxiety, and saying, "Here, this is your job right here. This is what you're good at. You don't have to be anxiety when you can be excitement and happiness, joy." And that's that bouncy energy. And I had that hammered out to me, and well, I didn't hammer it back in. I let it sink back in. Or rather, I let the nail fall out of the hole that it'd been hammered into. Of like, oh, you have to be this way. Did I? There we go. Here comes the music. I know it's been really quiet up until this point, but barely been saying anything. I want to double check that I am actually getting audio to the game. I feel like, oh, that's on my it's because my headset's quiet. My bad. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go to mic a second, see if I can thingy that limiter. And hope that like is that better? Right, okay, good. I hope that helps it. It might not, I don't know. Why, oh, right, because we're, there we go. I don't know if that's going to make it worse or make it better, because I noticed, like, there's this sort of weird, like, vibration thing going on. Maybe the mic's a little too close, I don't know. Because it doesn't need to be close. And, like, just, you know, because I do have a bit of a projective voice at times. It can get loud. So what we're going to do, we're going to look for a beacon. Oh, there's someone here, so we're going to go to Monarchs first. I mean, this is a new ship, so I won't need to refuel this one. We've got plenty of money to deal with. F2. And we're gonna go to Monarchs and see if we can heal some peoples. Okay. Monarchs. I'm gonna try not to be too predictable, cause someone might try to find me in another video. Then again, if they did, I could just like, no, I don't have to record you trying to bother me. You ain't gonna get your 10 minutes of fame with me. That's the beauty of a video over a stream, because streams, people can just like, you know, stream party crash you, you know.
Shields offline.
But with videos, that's a lot harder to do.
Multi-drive is now on.
Although you can tell when someone's in your world, because obviously you can look at the playlist of any server you're in. I don't know why I'm saying this, I'm probably helping someone find me. I've never really bothered much with money, so like people give me money, it takes the fun out of it, because like you've got nothing to earn then. It's a journey for me. And like obviously we've had bugs in the past, and we still do have some of those bugs of like people duping stuff, and it like, oh, like they've got more money than they know what to do with, and then because they cheated to get it, and then they're just giving it out to people, and it screws up the economy because everybody has money now. Nobody's got anything to do. Economy is a strong word. For a game that doesn't fully have one, but there is crafting in the game now, so I guess there's some sort of economy now. Let's try balloon. Where else you get views like this, eh? We're gonna do the behind shot for this. Oh, look at that! Wow. What other game do you get this kind of view? I mean, I can name a few. No Man's Sky being one of them. But like seamlessly, no loading screens. It's like, you know. that's where for me it used to like I didn't have to hold down the Z key to do this with the camera. It just sort of did it whenever it was in during Quantum. I think they've taken that out now. Maybe it was annoying some people, I don't know. But you can see my little character in there, sat in the cockpit. See, this is it, the silence. And so I'll try and fill it with words to say for the sake of filling it with words to say, and nothing decent comes to mind. Like, oh, look at the nice weather. Like, don't be afraid of that silence. That's where you find your intuition. That's where you find the right things to say. So just be calm when you're in solitude and let the words come to you. Don't force it. Some moments of silence, nothing wrong with that in a video. Don't have to speak all the time. Like, who made that rule? Who? Like, oh, yeah. If you want to do a video, you want to be talking, you could sit there in silence if you want, just blankly staring at the screen. And just no wrong way or right way to make a YouTube video. As long as you're being you and you're having fun doing it, it's all that matters. Because that's how YouTube started. People didn't mess about with metas or follow trends. It started out as a wholesome place where people just uploaded what they were doing in their daily lives. Some person randomly going to a zoo was like the first video. They've got a saying for it, they call it a shitpost. The first video on YouTube was a shitpost. Colourful language is a term used for a post where it's completely random. There's no point to the video, it's just put up there. Look, oh look, hey, I'm going to the zoo. And I think I like that, the idea of that, of like spontaneity, recording spontaneity, and spontaneity can also mean silence and doing nothing. It has to be organic, not scripted. You can't, it has to be. You can make it scripted, but don't make it all about that, because if you make it all scripted, it becomes work, and if it becomes work, it becomes hard. Because the more you make it rigid, the more it don't feel right anymore. You get caught up in that, it's got to be this quality standard, or like, stuff like that. And it's like, doesn't have to be. Who says? Upload it in 1080p. I'm only uploading it in 4K because I want to. Because I like to watch videos at 4K, so I figured I'd give people that option. But person can watch it in 1080p if they like. I don't fucking care. It's freedom of choice. I mean, obviously freedom of choice is not without consequences, but if you mull over the consequences of every action all the time, it's like getting a car and going on a road trip across a very vast country, like somewhere like America, on like one of the long highways, like goes across the entire country. I think like Route 66 sort of stuff. And there's gonna be bumps in the road. Yeah, there's gonna be like, there's it might break down, or you might have to, and you might have to push the vehicle, or you might need to get down on the ground and change the tires. But if you're afraid of all the things that could go wrong, as you'd call it, you'd just be stuck there and not going anywhere. What's the point in a car if you're not driving it, you know? And it's the same way with life. Live life. Don't just sit there and let it go by, because at least for this iteration of yourself, you've only got one. You only get to experience this life in this moment and this time once. So make the most of it. Because everything changes. I don't mean to get so super serious there. Usually when I'm channeling something like that, it's a message from someone else or something else. Upon other dimensional entities, spirits, all sorts of stuff. It's okay if you don't believe in those things. Some people prefer what's comfortable. But I'm sort of using this channel to also spread that message around, you know, and not be afraid to think about it, because well, people will think that, like, when they get all dominant and everything, they think that's freedom of thought. That's not the same thing. That's just following your instinct, your gut reaction to something somebody said, which is usually either in an emotional way or some other way. When you give pause, when you think about something for a long time, when someone asks you a question, you don't have to answer straight away. You could take 3 days about it and then answer them. Just say, I can get back to you on that. And that's not a sign of weakness. It's because you've decided that if that question is important enough, then you want to think about it properly, because every question and every decision you make always has an answer, and answers can have consequences depending on what that question is or that choice is. So you've got to be really careful about choices in life, because you've got to be careful what you wish for, or you might just get what you want.
Is now off.
I just won for a second. I saw a space station there. Huh. Yeah. While we're waiting for some sort of beacon, let's go.
Shields online. Shields offline.
If I'm being totally honest, I am not feeling doing this video right now. And I think I need to be true to myself. This is not me giving up. This is me waiting for a better opportunity to do a video, and I can tie this into the next video and make it one video, or you know, something like that. I gotta be careful with this one. I've had bugs with this thing. It might have changed now, actually, though. Because that was quite some time ago. That was just after that I did server mashing and I was having some errors with the where obituary was just like very laggy.
Quantum drive is now off.
This was before Nix was out, so you know, teething issues, but also like with the populations were different then, so obviously there'd be more people in Barrow at the time. It's me, or is this place starting to look a bit like Atlantis from Stargate? Oh look, someone's got a thingy. I should probably switch to
Shields online.
what's going on here. Smooth.
Engines offline. All systems offline.
Yeah, I don't think I was ready to like. It's all good. I think like I'll put this video up because I've said some things on it that I needed to say. I feel like and talk about things, you know. But I know that means I haven't done much of Star Citizen gameplay, but like I've taken my sleeping tablets, so my mind is shutting down now. So mind over matter can only work so far. I mean, it can go beyond, but like, I have not fully trained that much in that much shadow work yet. I haven't gone deeper yet, so I don't know how to do that yet. Because you know, it's something you have to do over a lifetime. Some people train years just to get the stages I'm at. Some people have to spend a decade reading books and learning hermetics and or like Hinduism or Buddhism to like get to where I'm at. But that doesn't mean that I haven't still got plenty enough to learn. There's deeper levels that I have never been. I'm somewhere around frequency 9, and I guess there's over dimensions deeper than that. Way deeper. I've met a dragon in dimension 9, but I don't know where my dreams lie in that, but I guess conscious dreaming, dream walking is one of the things that I am going to have to learn to do, where I walk consciously through dreams, because that's one of my abilities. And it allows me to determine things. I'm sort of going through a second spiritual awakening, basically. And that's the thing. When you start going through those gates, when you get deeper and deeper, you start going through more awakenings, new abilities start cropping up, and things that you can do that you didn't think were possible. Like controlling the wind and making it blow at the exact moment. Doing it twice in a row, too. But I've got performance anxiety, so I'm not sure if I could do it in front of people, because, like, which I know that sounds convenient, but it is a thing about focus. And if you're thinking about, oh, people are watching me, you know, I've still got some performance anxiety to get rid of. I mean, I'm doing fine talking now on videos. It's because I'm not looking at a face. I'm looking at a camera right now. If we're talking realistically, which is weird because I'm also talking to probably, I don't know, tens of people, maybe thousands, maybe at some point in the future, maybe millions. So it's like, oh wait, like, oh god. But I don't get that uncomfortability with this like I do on streaming. It's live. Everything that happens is live. Nothing is cut at all. I mean, nothing's cut in these videos anyway, but like, you feel like you're being monitored like it's CTV, and you're like, oh shit, I can't just be myself here. But you can, it's just your brain is like not letting you go there and be yourself, because it's worried about someone giving you an instant reply about the way you're acting. Just don't give a fuck. Learn to not give a fuck, because then you're unfuckwithable. Some dude like said the dragons have been doing ley lines for fifth dimensional ascensions. Was talking about that. He were talking about, if you say, what is it? Chromium octahedron. It's a shape, like a one pyramid on top of another, or like what, like good example. It's not that one, it's the other one. Like that sort of shape. Like shape of one of these crystals. Don't know if you can see that. Like that sort of shape. And imagine like 3 meter tall one of those around your body when you say it. And it'll protect your body. Because, you know, people want to put dark juju on you. And they don't know they're doing it. But the universe has this game where it'll like, oh look, this person's raising up, and so something in the universe tries to restore balance, and so it tries to drag you back down. Once you get past the Earth's field, then you rise up. You can't be touched. And chromium octahedron helps you protect against things like that. Because anything within your field, like there's multiple reflections within a crystal like that, and multiple lights of different colours, all of God's different colours spread out in a spectrum. And so, if light you're shining, in my case, my light's the shine. It's truth. It's love. Person comes near that field, they won't know why. They'll do it on instinct, but like they'll fight or flight if their intentions aren't noble. If they got ill intentions, even if they don't realize that they've got ill intentions, or are gonna, you know, react and do something nasty to pull you down, they'll see that shield around you, or rather their body will sense it, or go, oh, I'm scared of this person, I don't want to fuck with them. Become unfuckwithable. And that's sort of how it works. Chromium octahedron. So remember that. Just picture that shape in your mind, of like, you know, the diamond sort of shape. Well, the crystalline sort of shape. Think like a less flat rupee from the Legend of Zelda. But it's 8-sided crystal. Basically, it's just so much easier to visualize in your mind when you have an image. I did have it somewhere, but I can't remember where I put it. Being in a fugue state can be affected by many things. It can be caused by many things. One of the things that puts me in a fugue state is having the lights on blast when I'm tired. I need it because if I don't do the white lights, like the green screen starts messing up, and I become an invisible green outline of myself. Like, you'll see all the lines of the details and stuff in like different shades of green, but that's all I'll be. It'll look like I'm on a radar or something. I mean, that's okay. I guess that can make things interesting, but like, I don't want to hide myself in any way because I've nothing to hide. Oh. Yeah, I think I should go. Right, so I've stored the ship, so what I'm going to do is go to the hubs. Or rather, just in this main part here, like, I need to leave my hangar. if there were any other ship, you know, I'd be able to sleep in it, but, like, you know, it sacrificed a lot for the medical bed, so there's no sleeping bed. So yeah, if you just the more you look inwards, the deeper it gets, and there's so many levels to it, and you're like, wow, I know bugger all. Because God is unknowable, the vastness of land he creates is also unknowable. Even heard, like, dragons created the earth, but they do so with the powers of God. And because everybody is God, even those who have ascended are God. That creation magic of creating our earth, we're doing it through him. So even the dragons, like, in a sense, are God. Just the same way that we are. Because God is everyone, he is no one, he is everything, and he is nothing. And so, like, in that sense, like, they created our universe because they're higher dimensional beings. And they created our planet because they're higher dimensional beings. So they were charged to do that by God. And because, like, makes sense. If God can, like, spread into multiple bodies and, like, it'd be a more efficient way of doing it, sending out drones for yourself to build things. But, like, when we create video games in this universe, this is just training for creating other dimensions. Like, we're probably creating other dimensions when we create a video game. And, like, we're creating those lower dimensions. When we ascend to higher dimensions, we'll be creating three-dimensional spaces. But we'll be doing it through a much more in touch with God kind of way. Anyways, I'll see ya. Bye-bye. Oh. Bye-bye. And I'll try to do another video when I'm feeling a bit better. I'm still getting that thing in the throat. I don't know what I've done. Might be a hair or something there. I don't know. Something I breathed in. I mean, I was in the city, so I'll see you.